There's a specific moment in the sales process that quietly kills the deal. It usually shows up about 10 minutes in. You're in the meeting and you pull up the slide with your credentials and you talk about your MBA. And you mentioned, I've got all of these 15 plus years of experience in business. You walk them through the certifications and now you think you're building trust. But what's actually happening is you're commoditizing yourself. While you're explaining your past, someone else out there is selling their future and they're walking away with a contract. Here's what I want you to hear today. In today's B2B economy, your resume is not an asset. It's a depreciating liability. If you're leaning on your background to close deals, you're playing a game that ended 5 years ago. So in this session, I want to show you what real authority looks like now. We're going to walk through 3 key ideas. First, the Elon Rule, why expertise is no longer about information. Second, the hustle trap, why most activity doesn't build credibility at all. And finally, the framework strategy, the single most important way to package your authority so it attracts clients instead of getting you chasing them. Let's start with the Elon Rule, because he recently said college is basically for fun and to prove you can do your chores, but it's not for learning. When he hires for SpaceX or Tesla, he's clear, I don't give a damn about your college degree. Why? Because information isn't scarce anymore. 20 years ago, degrees were valuable because knowledge was locked behind classroom walls. Today, you can learn anything you want for free. So what that means is if your pitch relies on, I know things you don't, you're in trouble. Clients can Google what you know in 5 minutes. They're not buying knowledge anymore. They're buying transformation. They want to get from point A to point B. And they want someone who knows that road well. So let's land this idea. If a dropout can take them to the result faster than a PhD, the dropout wins every time. Let's talk about the hustle trap. This one's sneaky because when credentials don't move the needle, the next instinct is usually, I'll just create more content. So you start posting on LinkedIn every day, commenting everywhere, writing long threads about leadership or mindset or culture. It feels productive, but let me show you why it doesn't work. And I'll use Jeff, a client of mine, as an example. He was consistent. He posted daily for 18 months, thousands of likes, dozens of comments, but 0 premium clients. Because when Jeff looked active, he didn't look authoritative. That's a big difference. Activity gets attention, authority earns trust. High-ticket clients, the ones that you want, don't chase noise. They respond to clarity, and clarity beats volume. One piece of content that explains a proprietary system will outconvert 100 generic tips. So if you're grinding on social right now and wondering why the bank account isn't moving, it might be because you're selling presence, not process. And that brings us to the final piece, frameworks. Because if credentials don't work and hustle doesn't work, we've got to ask what does. The answer is productized wisdom, what we call a framework. A framework is simply your expertise organized into a repeatable, teachable system. Now, here's how that plays out. A consultant says, I'll come in and help you fix your sales team. That's vague and it sounds a lot like risk. And maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. An authority says, we install the triad sales system. It has 3 steps. It takes 90 days. Here's the last company we did it for, and it was a complete success. The second pitch feels different. It's specific, it's predictable, it's proven. One selling time, the other is selling a product. And when you turn your process into a product, you stop being interchangeable. You become the only one who offers that solution. Now, how do you deploy that framework in a way that scales your authority? You put it into a book, not a deck, not a funnel, a physical book. Because a book gives your buyer something they can hold, read, underline. It lets you walk them through your method from start to finish without interruption. And once they've read it, something interesting happens. They're not wondering if you're qualified anymore. They're wondering if you're available. Now, you might be thinking, Steve, I have a framework, but I don't have time to write a book. That's exactly the reason most people never build this asset. And that's your advantage. They think it's a writing project, but it's not at all. It's a packaging project. And if you've already got a system, the writing part is the easy part. And it's why I pulled this video out for you to watch next, because if your book isn't packaged the right way, you're still invisible to premium clients. Watch this and you'll see why the consultants who post less are usually the ones getting paid more. This will make the shift click. See you there.